Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in pro wrestling, with Stephen Platinum versus AEW Dark from June 9th, 2020. If you hear little noises in the background, my kids are playing Cuphead because that's what they do, so don't be mad at it. They're doing their best to be quiet, but who am I to inhibit their video game playing prowess? All right, AEW Dark, this is episode 37. We've got Excalibur and Taz as the commentators. I was thinking about this. This is sort of a general thing at the top of the show, which is what I think I'm going to do in these Platinum versus shows, is I'm going to give sort of the big idea that it helped me think of. And here's what AEW Dark helped me think of this, which is AEW, in a very real way, through the Dark show especially, is making a real contribution to the world of professional wrestling. And I'm not talking about just at the WWE/AEW level. I'm not even talking about at the Impact, MLW, Ring of Honor level. I'm talking about all of pro wrestling. The guys doing the VFW halls and the indie guys toiling away who have visions and dreams just like everybody else. And AEW, through these dark shows, serves a very definitive purpose, which I am growing to appreciate. I will also add that the AEW dark shows get better production-wise. They always have a couple of vignettes that are relevant towards their main roster people that they incorporate along with Dynamite, as well as having stories of their own. The sort of Alan Angel's evolution into Dark Order member number 5 is happening tonight. The ongoing saga, which I personally like a lot, of Peter Avalon with Leva Bates, who I adore, and Brandon Cutler, looking for their first win as they're in a tag match tonight, and they've kind of moved up the card in AEW Dark. And for people who think, well, that doesn't matter at all, I think you're wrong. I think these kind of simple stories being told, they're giving people stuff to do, and we're getting to know the people, and we're still moving in new people. We have a couple of first timers on AEW Dark tonight and that kind of thing. I think it's great. So we open the show. A nice look, by the way. I like the graphic. It's simple, but again, effective, and it shows that they care about this show. We're well past the thing of 2 matches of zero consequence happening, and this show clocked in an hour and 24 minutes. Woo, that's a long one, but they're getting a lot done, and people get to be excited about it. And do they turn a quote-unquote profit on AEW Dark? Unlikely. Right? As of this morning, they had 200,000 views, which translates loosely into like $300. So they're not making money on this. Now, they already have the space and all of that, so a lot of the sunk costs are already taken care of, but they're doing this, and the feeling is they're doing these shows for the benefit of hardcore fans, but also the boys. And that alone, there's an intrinsic value there that I think can't be understated. We have 3 matches promoted at the top of the show. Lee Johnson against number 5, which is Alan Angels. Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler, again, see, this is a story that's continued, against the Jurassic Express. And then Moxley, the AEW champion, is going to be here wrestling, apparently against Robert Anthony. Dasha Gonzalez is the commentator, or the ring announcer, and I will say this, I note every little thing. That's referees, it's commentators, that's ring announcers, etc. And Dasha Gonzalez has gotten better and better at doing this. And the AEW Dark show gives her a chance to improve her skills, and I greatly appreciate it. Whomever is working with her and giving her suggestions deserves a lot of that credit, but she does as well for taking the notes, as they say in the theater world. First match, tag match between Lowrider and Fuego de Sol. I think Lowrider is the unmasked one. Fuego de Sol is the masked one, against Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, known as SCU. I had a couple of notes about this. Lowrider moves incredibly well, as good as any of the main roster guys, with the exception of the 2 or 3 top movers that they have in AEW. He moves very well. He's very smooth. He does not look unschooled and untutored, nor does he look overly choreographed. Really impressed with him. Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, good balance, good mix. The commentators note that Kazarian is sort of like the consummate veteran pro guy. Scorpio Sky, I think it's Taz who said he's kind of a goody-goody, but there's no denying his skills. But I like that you can actually see the difference between the two, that Scorpio Sky wrestles more like a sort of flashy babyface. Frankie Kazarian with the good all-around game and the solid strikes and all the rest of it. The Gory Guerrero thing into the turning knee is really great. I don't know if it, in this day and age, especially in AEW, if that looks like a quote-unquote tag finisher, but it's an effective move, and I appreciated that they didn't do too much and they kind of blew them out of the water. They let Lowrider and Fuego de Sol get their stuff in, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, this was a convincing win for SCU, which is, of course, the right call. And then we had a vignette inside of a big box truck where they're inducting Alan Angels, who didn't say anything but merely holds up the mask. But we got Brody Lee there, so this is a big deal. And we have a few Dark Order members at ringside for our second match, which is Lee Johnson and Alan Angels. Lee Johnson, a phenomenal job selling that arm, and good basic storytelling. If they made this decision, that's great. If somebody agented this match a little bit for them and told them, like, let's just have a simple story about you're working on this arm, I thought it really worked. Alan Angels, and I've said stuff about his promos in the past, and his 100 proof or 80 proof shtick, and the bar fighter, and how he wasn't really buying it. But I noted that he was making a great effort and showing a real love of getting the performance part down, and I think it's paying off for him with this number 5 thing, because as 5, his style of wrestling was different. His body language was different. He was aggressive. I thought it really turned towards, it really put over this thing of he's in the Dark Order now. And his sort of subtle things about looking to their approval, I thought was really great way to put this over. And then when he was at the point where it looked like he could win, out came Brody Lee, which was, again, nice little storytelling touch. And then Alan Angels puts the kibosh on him, and then they completely destroy Lee Johnson. Everybody takes their turn going at him. Really positioned the Dark Order as, man, I don't like these guys, they're heels, la la la. More importantly, I think Alan Angels did a phenomenal job. I know it sounds to some people like, man, you're really going in hard on this, and seems like you're overstating it. I don't think I am. Alan Angels is taking this opportunity and playing the part, and it's a good position for him to learn and grow, and it's definitely if you want to call it a promotion, it's a promotion, right? And good for him. Just really great to hear. I hope he listens to this because he should hear me saying these things. He's doing a great job, and it's a great look and an opportunity that he's getting to take advantage of. Match number 3, Musa, who I'm growing fond of, and Brady Pierce, who has apparently all the tools, but there's something about him that seems missing. In a match against Santana Ortiz, a great outing for Santana and Ortiz. Just smooth, really great tag team. Brady Pierce got them gold boots, though, but I thought Musa looked really phenomenal in the beginning of this match. Once Santana and Ortiz took over, and all of those, their tag maneuver style, I really enjoy, and they're really making it their own. This equivalent of like finding ways to stack up the other team and then throw one of their team onto the pile. Like, just Santana Ortiz's deal, I just love it. I really like it. This is a good outing for them. Lets them pad their win-loss record, which they need because the Inner Circle does the quote-unquote job often in big matches. So I think there's nothing wrong, and it's a good look for them to pad some in the win column. Then we have a vignette. QT Marshall and Dustin, a really enjoyable little segment here of we've got these tag shirts, but it's QT Marshall featured prominently on them. Really funny to me. Really funny and a great little thing, and they're allowing, because of they're doing stuff on Dark as well as on Dynamite, they're allowed to move this thing forward in increments, and I really like it. And QT is obviously enjoying himself through this whole thing, and I think it's a great role for Ali as well. For Pineapple Pete and Anthony Katena, so apologies if I said that wrong, against Butcher and Blade. Butcher and Blade murdered them, and commentary murdered Pineapple Pete on commentary. And understandably so. Pineapple Pete's working the gimmick, but, Butcher in particular, I don't think it's one of these things that looks good if you're playing ha-ha funny in front of him, and Butcher dealt with it appropriately. I mean, they destroyed these guys. This was a squash for a tag team thing, which makes perfect sense, but since Butcher and Blade are going to go up against FTR, formerly known as the Revolt or the Revival. But it was brutal. And Suge D gave a good performance, such as it was, but the commentators were really hard on him, and he took a whooping in this match, man. Number 5, Zach Clayton against QT Marshall. Ali at commentary, which I did enjoy, and then she came down at a proper point. Brandy, who always seems to get a spot in everything, took a bump, but they made a great little story out of it. Which is Brandy takes the bump, Allie's complaining about her finger or her fingernail, and QT Marshall opts to give attention to Allie. Allie coming down at commentary when QT was in trouble, I thought was a nice moment too. Everything isn't black and white and super obvious and crystal clean, which I think is really great. And it lends towards, again, I think instead of QT just being like this sort of generic dude out there, it's giving him something to do, and he's obviously running with it. A great example for the other guys who are perhaps lower on the card. And it advances the Ali Brandy thing more. All great. QT eventually wins, but does give Zach Clayton quite a bit, which works. Number 6, Sunny Kiss against Christopher Daniel. Great little match, great little exhibition for Sunny Kiss. I think Sunny Kiss is one of these people who really works that gimmick to the hilt, and more than that, does some things that I haven't really seen, and is clearly super gymnastically and athletically and flexibility inclined. The cartwheel handspring into the slap actually got a reaction out of me. The split leg drop thing, really, really good. Christopher Daniels, so smooth and easy to work with, and Christopher Daniels goes over. 7, match number 7. Woo! We got 8 matches on this thing, by the way. But it's still an hour and 20 minutes, whereas we've had AEW Darks that were like 10 or 11 matches, I want to say, long, that were about this length of time, which means they're giving more time to stuff and they're having more vignettes. Again, I think really good. Really good. Peter Avalon and Leva. Of course, I'm a huge Leva Bates fan. I say it every time. Booked her on more than one occasion in PCW. I'm coming around on Peter Avalon, especially. I think this tag thing with Brandon Cutler really works against the Jurassic Express. I think the two of them taking advantage of Marco's stunt and getting these power moves in that they would never get to do otherwise was great little moments. They were very competitive in the match. I noticed that they get smoother and they get better with every match, and I think that's by design. I think it's very smart, to the point where they were actually giving Luchasaurus a run for his money and got a couple of, like, I wouldn't say falsies and they're like, oh my god, they might win, but definitely were in positions to get pinfalls and things like that, even on Luchasaurus. They avoided the easy story of, once Luchasaurus gets in, we're dead. And instead, we're proficient against him as well. Though they did, of course, eventually lose, with Marco Stunt standing on the shoulders of the incredibly tall Luchasaurus and hitting a splash off of that. But I love the Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler seeking our first win story. I love it. Could they be Dark Order people? Like the AEW, even on this level, the AEW Dark level, have given us stories and possible places to go. And then we had Robert Anthony against Jon Moxley. Again, just a good exhibition. Jon Moxley knows how to work, knows how to make somebody look good. And then we had Taz commentating with Brian Cage standing there in a collared shirt. Can we never have Brandon Cage do that again? I think he's got to be in full wrestler monster mode, or we got to find a different look for him rather than him wearing a collared shirt. I just didn't think it really served well for him. I know that sounds nitpicky, but that's what these things are for. I like that Moxley won with the sharpshooter, that he had to drag him off of the ropes. We've seen that spot before, but never the one that led to a win, and it's nice to see one that led to a win. Really great. I'm a bigger Mox fan than other people that I know who are like, I don't know, I'm not sold on him as a top guy. I am. I think Moxley's really great. And I think he's going to continue to show that he's great, especially through these Fight Fest shows that are coming up on Dynamite in July. We get a preview of what we're going to see tonight on AEW Dynamite. Colt Cabana against Sammy Guevara, which should not only promise to be a good match, it's sort of intrigue. What's Colt Cabana's relationship with the Dark Order, etc., etc. Butcher and the Blade against FTR, which they've done a great job of setting up for FTR's first match in AEW. And the Inner Circle against Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. And then Cody defending his TNT title against Mark Quinn, I believe of Private Party. In any case, this has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark for June 9th, 2020. And I will be back tomorrow with my report about AEW Dynamite. Thanks for listening.